It's time to fire this thing up.
Welcome aboard ShipShape TV Essentials. This is your port of call for the most impactful upgrades, expert advice, and hands-on solutions from seasons past. This episode is proudly brought to you by SureHold, because anything worth doing is worth doing bright. From cleaning to protecting and perfecting, SureHold has everything you need to keep your boat shining. Don't just go boating, go showboating. Now, let's hoist anchor and set a course for another exciting episode of ShipShape TV Essentials.
If boating's your game, then you agree. ShipShape is the way to be. Out on the lake or on the sea, ShipShape means trouble-free. ShipShape means being neater. ShipShape makes boat work easier. ShipShape is the way to go. The ShipShape Boat Care Show.
Good to have you working around the boat with us today. I'm John Greviskis. What I'm doing here is I'm putting in some wedges in between the gunnel cap and hull of this boat. It flipped on the highway going about 50 miles an hour, and where it landed, it loosened the bonding materials that were holding these two pieces together. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some 3M 5200 marine sealant in the gap, and then we'll through bolt the two pieces back together. In fact, Nick and I are going to be installing some brand new rub rail on this boat. Get ready. We're about to teach you how to make your boat shipshape.
ShipShape, America's favorite boat improvement show, is being brought to you in part by
Copcoat Marine Group, makers of Pettit, Woolsey, and Z-Spar Marine paints. Stainless Marine, fly like an eagle with performance-proven products for every boat owner. Boatorama, the Robin Hood of the boating business. Boaters World Discount Marine Centers, real low prices guaranteed.
We now return to ShipShape TV.
I've got all our wooden wedges in place. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put in our marine sealant. And what I want to show you first is when you're trying to maximize the amount of sealant into a joint, let me show you how to cut the tip. Basically what you're looking to do is cut it at a 45-degree angle. What's really nice about this caulking gun is it's got a built-in razor blade. Stick the tip in and we'll cut it. Now, what we're going to do is we want to lay a nice thick bead of sealant into our gap. Nice and thick, and work it all the way down this joint. Now, a good thing to do is have a rag handy with some mineral spirits in case you have a lot of overage. That'll wipe it up for you. And again, what we're doing is forcing the material in all the way down the side of this boat. Now, Nick, can you show us how to through bolt these two pieces together?
Yeah, it's looking pretty good, John.
Yeah, I've just about got it.
John, I think what we ought to do is take a countersink, and we'll countersink the holes where the old pop rivets were. If you notice, I chose a number 10 flathead screw, and the flathead screw is going to give us our nice smooth finish, so after it's sunk into place, we're not going to have any high spots for the rub rail to look awkward in.
Well, how about if I jump in the boat and give you a hand?
Great, thanks. Now what I've got going here is, again, about every 8 inches where the old pop rivets were, we've went ahead and drilled out the old rivets, and then I'll countersink the head so this screw fits in there real nice. And we don't want to countersink too much because we still want some structural strength there. But if you take a look, once this screw's in place, you can barely even see that it's there. John, here's some nuts and washers. I'm going to go ahead and countersink the rest of these. And we'll pull those wedges out and let that 5200 get a nice seal. Put our Phillips head bit in. All right, John, ready to give one a shot?
Sure. I just happen to have a wrench here.
That should pull in real nice. That looks good, John.
How's that bead coming out? Is it beading up?
Yeah, you can tell we got enough sealant in there. It's oozing out.
Good.
We don't want to go too tight because we don't want to stress the fiberglass here on the cap. Just want to get it where it's snug. Hey, John, what do you want to do about these other holes that held the old rub rail on?
Well, we can either fill them with the 5200 or 3M makes a body filler, which has the fiberglass fragments in there.
Okay.
Maybe we could use that and fill it in, and then we could ferret it down.
So that one's got the fibers in it. It'll bond just like laying a piece of glass on it.
Absolutely.
Great.
Typically, rub rail is held onto your boat by one or two ways, either by Phillips head screws and marine sealant or pop rivets. If it's attached by screws, you may have an insert hiding the heads from your sight. If that's the case, use a flat-bladed screwdriver and lift the insert back, exposing the screws. Unscrew the rub rail and then take off any loose marine sealant with a putty knife. If it's held on by pop rivets, you're going to need to drill out the heads of the rivets with a reversible drill. Make sure the drill bit is the same size as the shaft and no larger. Drill out the head and punch the shaft into the bilge. After all the original rub rail is removed, scrape any excess marine sealant off with a putty knife, and then you'll want to be careful not to damage any of the gel coat or fiberglass. But right now we need to hear a word from the people who make this show possible, but when we come back, we're going to show you how to fill the holes from the original rub rail removal. Stay tuned.
Shipshape TV will be right back. Here is today's maritime law question. What should you do if you are cited for operating a vessel under the influence? Answer coming up from maritime attorney Gail Hawks right after these messages.
Give your prized items a better-than-new look with SureHold Buff Magic. This buffing compound works as a metal polish and rubbing compound for your boat, car, and other home equipment. Buff Magic is specifically formulated to remove oxidation and surface defects, restore that quality showroom shine, and provide a deep, rich finish in one easy step. Proudly made in the USA, SureHold Buff Magic is the ultimate restoration compound. SureHold. Clean and simple.
What should you do if you are cited for operating a vessel under the influence?
The first thing you need to remember is you need to cooperate with the arresting officer. More than likely you're going to be arrested. More than likely your boat's going to be towed to a shore facility and impounded. Before you're interviewed, however, you have the absolute right to talk with an attorney, and you should exercise that right. Also, you will probably be asked to take a blood test or a breathalyzer test or a urine test. You can refuse to do that under the law. But again, there are serious ramifications for refusing. So you need to talk with an attorney before you decide whether you're going to refuse or not.
And now back to the project.
Welcome back to the show. We left off before the break showing you how to remove the old rub rail, and then we prepared the surface, making it ready for our new. Now, before we can install it, we need to select what kind of rub rail we're going to put on. I'm in Pompano Beach, Florida at Boaters World, and what I'm about to show you is a revolutionary new way for you to select your rub rail. It's called the DIY Marine Replacement Center, and with us today is Jay Kitchen, the president of Taco, the aftermarkets company, to explain how it works. Jay, how has Taco simplified the selection process for the consumer?
Well, really, John, what we've done is, like you said, we've come up with the DIY Marine Do-It-Yourself Rub Rail Project Center. And what this does is it allows a spot in the store for the consumer to come in with a sample of their rub rail and determine what type of product they want to put on their boat.
Now, these are going to be available in all types of marine stores around the country.
Marine dealers, marine retailers.
Okay, great. How many different types of categories of rub rail are there to choose from?
There's really 4 basic categories. You've got flexible vinyl, you've got rigid vinyl, some OEM aluminum shapes from the older days with boats, and we also have stainless steel rub rail overlaps.
Now, with those 4 main categories, are there a lot of selection within them?
Absolutely. What we show is the most popular shapes. In our catalog are hundreds of different combinations. So the importance of the Rub Rail Project Center is to really take away the intimidation of working on this project. It gives the most popular shapes for the boater to choose from.
What do we have here?
This is a selection guide, and what this does is it shows the boater how to measure their boat, gives them tips on which shape they might want to use, which material they might want to use, and then gives them, like our board shows here, a technical hotline, which allows the boater to call us if they've got any questions along the way.
Well, Jay, right now we need to take a look at this new boat out on the water. Let's have a look.
It was Sea Ray's 370 Sedan Bridge that caught my eye this week. This boat heads up the company's line of sport yachts. It's driven from this spacious flybridge. An adjustable captain's chair puts you at the helm of an advanced control station. My first thoughts were of open water and deep sea fishing. This boat's deep forefront and variable degree dead rise lended to its superior trolling stability. Standing in the cockpit, I noticed no exhaust fumes or spray. Cruising speed was a comfortable 25 knots according to the standard Raytheon GPS. Mercruiser's new multi-port fuel injections shine throughout the RPM range with smooth acceleration and rapid fire starts.
I've owned a lot of boats in my life, including 5 Sea Rays. I currently own 3, including this 37. And the things that stand out to me about Sea Ray is, first of all, their quality, reliability, value, and durability. When you've been in the rough stuff, that's when you really need a boat you can trust, and you can trust a Sea Ray.
With more than 50 models ranging from 14 to 65 feet, Sea Ray is the world's largest manufacturer of quality pleasure boats. All Sea Ray boats are designed to be used in every sense of the word. That is real obvious here on this 370 Sedan Bridge. Particular attention to each and every element that contributes to a safe and pleasant trip aboard a Sea Ray. Manufacturing facilities in Merritt Island and Palm Coast, Florida have each been certified along with the other 4 facilities. Sea Ray is the only recreational boat company to receive the most stringent evaluation in the boating world, ISO 9002 from the International Organization of Standards.
The reason the Sea Ray's resale value is so high is the incredible amount of workmanship that goes into every Sea Ray. We're Brevard Boat Sales. We've been a Sea Ray dealer for 3 years now, and we're very excited to be the Sea Ray dealer. We do a lot of fun things with our customers. We have the Getaways programs where we do trips with our customers. We're going to the Bahamas this summer. It's just a lot of fun. Can't beat owning a Sea Ray.
What really sells this boat is its interior. A gigantic salon filled with luxury. Ice maker, AM/FM cassette with CD player, TV and VCR, and a luxurious galley. What I liked about it was the large countertops and spacious cabinets, a molded-in sink and built-in coffee maker. The oversized refrigerator and 3-burner stove make this boat ideal for entertaining. The master stateroom with full-size bed gives total privacy. Closet space is in abundance. The large head is accessible from either stateroom. This boat comfortably sleeps 6.
I got to tell you, we made a fantastic buy on this boat. Normally it's about a $260,000 boat, and this boat can be bought for around $200,000. And we're talking about a loaded boat. With the cockpit layout, it's great for fishing. It's got a huge cabin, nice sleeping accommodations, and with the fly bridge, it's just real easy to drive a boat like this. We've really got a great deal here.
It's impressive to find such refined performance and luxury in such a small motor yacht. Reporting for ShipShape TV, I'm Elizabeth Saunders. Back to you, John.
What'd you think of that boat?
Great boat, John.
Jay, what have you selected for our project boat?
I thought, given the look of the boat, that we'd go with a more modern rigid shape. So we'd use this black rigid vinyl shape here, and then we could dress it up with a stainless overlap over the top.
That's going to look really nice. Now, you have pre-packaged a lot of these kits for consumers, putting everything in them. Could you show me one of those?
Sure. What we've done is in this section of the Project Center, we show all the universal replacement shapes. These are good replacement shapes for most any boat. So we've got the 4 flexible shapes and a couple of the rigid shapes boxed up right here in the store.
Well, that's great. Let's take a look at one of these kits. Now, what I like about these things is they're all inclusive. Is that correct?
They are. They come with everything you need to install the rub rail. Basically, you've got the rub rail itself, you've got the insert, step-by-step instructions, and the fasteners. Then in addition, before you leave the store, you'll want to check the label on the top, because this tells you the other supplies you might need, like a silicone sealant, that type of thing, safety goggles. And then it also tells you the tools you'll need when you'll get home to install the rub rail.
Well, you've really made it easy.
We tried.
Jay, right now we need to go to break and hear a word from the people who make this show possible. Stay with us.
Here's what's coming up next on Shipshape TV.
Hi, I'm Barry Burhoff with Surehold Industries. Look at this guy and all the stuff he needs to maintain his boat. I guarantee you he'll be tripping on that all day long. Forget that nonsense. Use the Surehold family of products featuring the one handle that does it all. Surehold has over 40 different quality attachments that easily locks into place. Deck brushes, mops, squeegees, scrubbers, paddles, boat hooks, and even a camera adapter. Whether it's for your car, truck, RV, or boat, keep it clean and simple with Surehold products.
We now return to Shipshape.
A couple of weeks ago I was talking about the 3M Marine body filler, and we're going to be using that again in today's application, where we're filling in the original holes where our original rub rail was mounted onto this boat. And the reason I like this material is it bonds real well. It's watertight, bonds real well, and there's very, very little shrinkage. There's only 1% to 2% shrinkage in this stuff. Now, Nick, what are you doing there with that hull and deck joint?
John, I'm just trying to work in this 5200 in case there was any gaps when we through bolted everything together. That way, when you get the water bouncing up in the seas, we don't get any sliding back through into the boat.
So we have to pretty much watertight that entire joint?
Yeah.
Well, this stuff will kick in about 20 minutes. It will be sandable. And then we can start the installation of our new rub rail, which is going to be a rigid vinyl and stainless combination. Once all your holes are filled, you're going to need to fair them in, and we've already gone ahead and done that. Now, we're going to be installing a rigid vinyl on the Samus, and basically what we did to bring you up to speed is we put our first piece and wrapped it around the bow, and then we took a 20-foot section, we went from there and we came all the way, made the corner, and now what we're about to do is make our other corner, and we're going to show you how to do a butt joint and how to bend this material. Now, Nick, what do we need to do on this butt joint?
All right, what you want to do is you want to overlap the two pieces approximately 1/8 of an inch.
Okay.
Since it's a vinyl, it expands and contracts with the heat, so we want to snap it in place so we don't have any gaps.
Now, you've gone ahead and pre-drilled our holes. You need to do that because if you don't pre-drill into your fiberglass, you're going to shatter it. You don't want that. What size screw are we using, and what size drill bit did we go with?
Okay, this is a number 10 screw. It's an oval head, self-tapping. Put a little sealant on these screws. Now these are number 10 oval head Phillips, and I went with a screw bit that was a little bit smaller than the number 10, so they kind of tap in there. Okay, that's all we want to put in. We want to leave a few screws out on either end of each stick, and John's going to pull them back and then preload them and snap them in.
Which is just like
beautiful.
that.
Beautiful.
A nice fit. Then we'll go ahead and we'll finish our drilling process, and then we can make our bend.
Okay, now we're going to make this bend with the heat. I'm using a hot air gun. Now, if you've got a high-powered hair dryer at home, you could use it, but it's going to take a lot longer. So if you can get a heat gun or borrow one, it's going to take a little less time. Now we're going to heat the whole area without holding the gun in any one spot for too long. Nice gradual heat. It's going to take a few minutes, but you're going to wind up with a real nice bend.
It's also a pretty good idea, Nick, to heat both sides.
That's true. We want to heat it all the way around.
Let me grab that for you. Again, we don't want to hold it in one spot because that could damage your gel coat or your fiberglass or even your rub rail. If you hold it in one spot for too long, you want to move it in an area of about 8 to what, 12 inches?
Yeah, you want to get it back. Even like on this side here where I'm attached to the boat, we still need to get it a little warm.
Now guys, you don't want to put your hands too close to this excited area because you could hurt yourself.
All right, just put a little gradual pressure on and lift up a hair as you're doing it.
Well, she's bending nice, Nick.
Yeah, looks good, John. All right, once you get it to where you want it, I'll come back and drill a pilot hole and we'll put a screw in.
That looks good.
Happy?
Yeah.
Sometimes the corner will buckle up a little bit. So if you heat it up, take a smooth wood block underneath, you can get a nice, good radius.
And after that, we attach our stainless. And when you're working with your metal and you want to bend that around the corner, you're going to need a rubber mallet. Jonathan, can you hand me that?
Sure thing, Dad.
Thanks. And you want to keep some steady pressure on it, and then we're going to go ahead and beat it around this corner. Nick, can you give us a heads up real quick of if somebody wanted to install flexible vinyl? What would they do?
The first thing you need to do is know how much flexible vinyl you're going to need. And a good rule of thumb, a trick I like to do, is I'll take the length of the boat, multiply it by 2, and add in the beam. That's for a full transom boat. So, for example, here we'd have 48 feet, 24 foot times 2, plus 8 foot, 56, say 60 feet for comfort's sake. We're then going to take and set it out on some pavement and warm it up, start at the bow of the boat and attach 3 screws on either side, and then have you and a friend grab the back corner and pull as hard as you can, and again attach 3 screws in the back, pull the rub rail over and snap it into place and attach your screws every 4 to 6 inches.
Any tips on aluminum?
Aluminum is real similar to what we've done here in the rigid vinyl. A couple of differences are you don't have to preload the butt joints, and if you're going to make a turn on an aluminum or a bend on a corner that's going to have a flexible vinyl insert, install a short section of the insert prior to making the turn and bend it with the insert in place to hold the shape of the rail. That's it.
Excellent. You know, rub rail can really dress up the look of your boat, and it's a great family project to work with your sons or daughters on. You know, that's what this show's all about, is family fun working around the boat. What do you think of our new rub rail, Jonathan?
Super, Dad.
That's all the time we have for this week's show, guys. Until next week, keep your boat ship-shape. No, I was thinking of rub rail. Maybe we can flush them out and deck back here. Hey, Nick, can you push on that second one? Yeah.
Out on the lake or on the sea, ship-shape means trouble-free. Ship-shape means being...
If you have an idea for a show, write it down and leave it for us on the internet. Our web address is www.shipshapetv.com or by mail at Shipshape TV. Attention Project Director, P.O. Box 31561, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.